Good? Okay. So, welcome to Swiflearn online classes. As you already know that Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. It is the most sincere learning destination because we try harder. So over here, all the classes are 100% live and interactive classes, right? So if you have any sort of doubt regarding the topic, everything you can ask to the teacher in the classes only, and the teacher will explain all the concept in the classes to you, right? Secondly, we give personalized attention to each and every students of our batches, because our batches consist of maximum 6 students, not more than that. So it can be a batch of one student or 2 student, or maximum 6 students will be there. This basically help the student to ask any sort of doubt without any hesitation. And also this help us, like the teachers, to keep an eye on you, how you are progressing, what are the different parameters where you are lagging, and definitely we will work on that so that you can improve yourself. And the main thing which we focus on is the total holistic development of student, right? Coming to the third thing, that we have the dedicated academic mentor team who continuously track how you are progressing, and according to that you will get the feedback. This feedback will definitely help you to improve yourself. Coming to the fourth and the most important thing, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. If you have any sort of topic which is coming in your school exam and we have not done it yet in Swiflearn, so we will do those topics first, then we will move on to the rest of the topic. So other than that, we have a lot of different types of extra classes, like the doubt classes, revision classes, PTM is also there, and definitely the case study classes are there, like the case study based questions you are getting in CBSE board exams from now, right? So for that, we also have the special types of classes like that. Now, coming to the different key features of Swiflearn and why the Swiflearn is totally different from any other platform, let me tell you. First is we maintain a detailed progress report of each and every student. So in this progress report, everything will be there, like what is your understanding capacity, what is your competitive approach, in which topic you were totally perfect, which topic you need to revise again and again, you were doing the homework regularly or not, where you are basically lagging. So everything will be there in detail. And जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी PTM होता है, इधर भी होता है, तो your parents will be able to interact with us directly. They can share a lot of feedback if they want to give any advice, so they are always welcome and we are always here to help you out, right? Coming to the second thing, that we have the SAT, which happen in every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can perform over there. This is the Swiflearn academic test series, and your name along with the rank will be given on the leaderboard, right? Coming to the most important part of our session or our study is the practice. You already know that practice makes a man perfect, right? So after completing the revision of each and every chapter from your notebook, from your textbook, from all the notes which will be supplied from Swiflearn, so what you have to do is you have to practice the question answers. So we have unlimited practice test over here, many assessments, mock test, and so on we have. So what you have to do is you have to practice the question answer. Both subjective objective questions will be there. So in case of objective, जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी आते हैं MCQs, filling the blanks, true, false, match the columns, so one word, this type of questions will be there for you for all the topics of all the subjects. And subjective answer is very, very important, because we see that in most of the cases you lose the marks in the subjective answers, right? While writing the answer, sometimes you miss out some of the keywords, sometimes you miss out how to draw that diagram or labeling of certain diagrams. So we will always give you the tips and tricks how to write the subjective answer according to the different marks. So 3 marks के लिए कितना लिखना चाहिए, 5 marks के लिए कितना लिखना चाहिए. So this type of tricks we will always give you in the classes. So you will have to write the answer, you can upload it, submit it, and we have a very good group of teacher who will check your answer and give you the tips and tricks to get full marks in your board exam as well as the school exam, right? So this is all about Swiflearn, and to experience all these things, what you have to do is you have to book the free trial class. So all the trial classes are free of cost. Book it anytime whenever you are free and experience how the classes go on, the total interactive classes. and then enroll your name in our regular batches so that we can meet regularly. We will discuss a lot about the different types of topics of the different subjects, right? Yes, so let's now move on to the topic of today. Before that, let me remind whoever has not subscribed the channel, please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. Fine, and don't forget to click on the like button. Okay, so click on the like button, comment and share. Chalo. So let's start with today's topic. As I have already said that today we are going to begin with a new topic, that is the respiratory system. So the respiratory system we have done in case of plants. So we already have an idea how respiration takes place in case of plant. So anybody, can you tell me what is respiration? Yes, Ankrit, good afternoon. So this is the chapter which is there in class 9 syllabus of ICSE board. So this is almost the similar type of chapter which we have just covered within the last 2 days, in the last two sessions, right? We have already got an idea what is respiration, how it takes place, what are the different types of respiration, what are the different steps which are included under respiration. But we have done it in case of plant. So basically in this topic, in this session, we will focus on how this process takes place in case of animals and what is the difference in between the respiration in plant and animal. Okay? Yes. So let's see what we are going to discuss in today's session. First of all, we will discuss about the respiration, what is respiration, how it takes place and all. Secondly, we will discuss about the need for respiration. Why do you think this respiration is very, very important for our survival? Why do you think this is a very essential process, life process, which help us to survive all the time in each and every second? Thirdly, we will discuss about the types of respiration. Okay, and fourth is the cellular respiration, how it takes place, in which types of cells this respiration will take place, we will discuss. So I hope all of you are ready. Yes, quickly give me the hi, hello in chat box. Give me comments in the chat box so that I can also understand whether you are getting me or not. And as you already know, I'll announce the student of the session at the end of the session, whoever will give me most of the answers correctly during this session. Okay, so you have to stay till the end. Chalo. So let's see two different cases. Okay, before going to the direct respiration topic. First of all, have you ever observed that when you sleep or just when you are going to relax, you are just lying down? So, what happened? Your chest portion rises up and fall down, and it happens continuously without whether you want it or not. Yes. So, any idea why does it happen? Yes. And also, have you ever seen that this type of thing also happen when you were doing a lot of different types of exercise or you were running after something or something like that? So just the rhythm will increase, right? So why do you think this rising up and the falling down of the chest cavity takes place? Any idea? Some different processes going on within your body. What is that process? Because of the respiration, right? So the respiration is continuously going on inside your body. That is the main reason. Coming to another case, have you ever seen your dog, any dog in the roadside that they after running for some times they used to pant or they make their tongue out and they used to pan like that? Yes. Now think and tell me, why do they also do the same thing? What process help them to do that? And what is the main thing which is required for their body also for doing the process? Yes. The similar thing, that is the respiration. Yes. So your answer will be always the respiration. So what happen in this case of respiration is we take in the oxygen and we utilize that oxygen to get the energy, right? So only just when you are lying down or sleeping, you can see that your lungs are expanding and contracting. So the chest cavity is also rising up and coming down. So this is nothing but the breathing. Yes, you are taking in the oxygen rich air and you are giving out the carbon dioxide rich air. So this is nothing but a very simple physical process of breathing, that is taking in oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide rich air. Okay, so this is the inhalation and exhalation. But this is not the respiration, as I have already mentioned you in the previous sessions also. Breathing is just a small portion of respiration, but respiration is something more than the breathing. What is that? This is the process by which we basically produce the energy. So where will this production of the energy will take place? Within our cell, right? So within our cell, we have the mitochondria, which we call as the powerhouse of the cell. And here the main energy will be produced. Up to this much clear? Now, what do you need to get this energy? From where will you get this energy? Any idea? Yes, quickly give me the answer in the chat box. Yes, so we have already taken in the oxygen while breathing, right? So this oxygen will help to break down something. What is that something which is needed to be broken down so that we will get the energy? Yes, from where do we get the energy? From the food. This very simple answer is the food, right? And the food contain a lot of different types of nutrients. The basic nutrients are the carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins and minerals, right? These are the different nutrients which we get from the food. And mainly the carbohydrate is broken down by the presence of oxygen within the cell. And yes, Ankrit, very good, that is the food. And this breakdown of the glucose with the help of the oxygen to produce energy is nothing but the process of respiration. Up to this much clear hai? Yes? Okay. So we have already got an idea what is the respiration and what is the main organ of respiration in human body, that is the lungs. So the lungs are present in the chest cavity and that is the very first stage or the step of the respiration, that we take in the air within us and the main gaseous exchange takes place within the lungs, that is the oxygen will be given inside the blood capillaries and the blood capillary in turn will give out the carbon dioxide so that we breathe it out, right? And the blood capillaries which will take in the oxygen, it will just distribute the whole oxygen within all the different organs of our body. And all the organs, we know that they are made up of the cells, right? Cells are the basic functional and structural unit of our body. So within the cell, this respiration process will take place. Clear up to this much? Yes. Now, do you think that lungs are also present within the plant? Have you ever seen lungs in the plant? Yes or no? Yes? No, right? Okay. So, now can you tell me, in case of plant, how do they respire? Any idea? They do not have the lungs. They cannot breathe like us. They don't have the trachea. The air cannot go inside their body. They cannot go to the lungs. The gaseous exchange doesn't take place in their lungs. So what will happen to them? Yes, any idea? So the plant, in case of the plant, it is in the cellular level. So the respiration takes place in the cellular level. What happened over there is they have the stomata, lenticel, and the different types of openings. The basic thing is the stomata, which are present in the leaves and in the very soft stems, where due to the opening and the closing of the stomata, the gaseous exchange takes place. And the basic process of the respiration will be same to that of the human being. So similarly, in those plants also, the respiration will be the catabolic process. They will break down the food to get the energy, right? So the plants also need the similar amount of energy for doing their different physiological functions. Yes, do you agree with me? Yeah. So the stomata which are present in the leaves and stems, the lenticels which are present in the barky woody stems, and also the root hairs which are present within the roots, they take in the oxygen from the surrounding. Like in case of the root, they take it from the soil particles, the air which are present within the soil particle, and in case of the leaves and the stem, they take it from the surrounding, and in turn they give out the carbon dioxide, and in between they produce the energy within their body, within their cells. So this respiration, similar to that of the animals, also takes place in both the day and night. So there is a huge misconception sometimes happen in case of the students, that they sometimes think that uh, photosynthesis takes place during the daytime and respiration takes place during the nighttime. No, this is totally wrong. Respiration takes place during the whole day and night continuously in both the plants and animals. Up to this much clear hai? Yes, hi Pragya, how are you? Chalo. So let's see what are the different features of respiration now. So we already have an idea that this is nothing but the oxidative breakdown of the glucose molecule so that we get the proper amount of energy. So the breakdown of this glucose molecule takes the help of a lot of different types of enzymes. So this is, we can call as, we can write the definition of respiration as the oxidative breakdown of glucose molecule to convert it into carbon dioxide, water, along with the energy in the form of ATP. This is nothing but the process of respiration. Yes, I remember, beta. I remember, Pragya, you were the star student. Let us see who will be the star kid for today's session. Yes, today we are also discussing about the respiration, but in case of animals. Okay. Chalo. So a lot of different enzymes are needed over here, and continuously a lot of different steps are also needed. So step by step, this different chemical reactions will take place within our body, and finally the production of the energy will take place. And as we already know that this production of energy will be within the cell, and that is why we can call this as the cellular respiration also. Now, we know that the energy currency which is produced within the mitochondria is in the form of ATP, right? So the ATP, we can also call it as the energy currency of the cell, right? The powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria, and as this mitochondria help in the production of the energy in the form of ATP, so this ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. Yes, Ankrit, I remember you were also the star kid. Yes. Okay, don't worry. Let me see who will be the star kid for today's session. Now, quickly give me this answer then to become the star kid. So, do you think this the need of energy is similar in case of plant and animal both, or you think that plant or animal, between these two, somebody needs more energy for their survival? Yes. Quickly give me the answer, Ankrit and Pragya. Do you think, what do you think? Yes. Similar? If I say no, somebody else need, like either plant or the animal, between plant and animal, anyone needs some more amount of energy. Why, I also will tell you. Plant need more. Sure. Okay, let's see. Animals basically need more energy. ठीक है? तो क्यों है ये भी मैं बता दूंगी. So that is, have you ever seen the plant is running in the road or just locomoting from one place to another? Have you ever seen that? No. But we can see the animals continuously running after something, walking, swimming, they're going from one place to another, which basically we call it as the locomotion. Yes? Yes, Ankrit, correct. So, plant do not need that much amount of energy because they only show a very little amount of movement. Just staying with that portion, they can like move their branches, leaves and all. If you think about the touch me not plant, if you just touch the leaves, then it will droop down. So this type of movements, the very basic small amount of movement can be shown by the plants. But if I take the example of the animals, yes, so all the animals, they can move from one place to another, which is, we can call this process as the locomotion. Yeah, so we also go to the school, from the school we come back to home, we go from here and there, so from one room to another. So for doing all these things, we have to change the place, right? We have to go from one place to another, right? And for movement and from this, for this type of locomotion, we need more energy. Clear now? Yes, so we are not only running all the time. So by sitting over here also, if you think about me now, so I'm moving my hand, I'm moving my mouth, I'm just talking. So a lot of energy is needed for doing this, right? Do you agree with me or not? And while studying, you are also listening to me, you are also thinking, you are also trying to give me the answer, you are also typing the answer in the chat box. So you are also showing some type of movement, right? So that also needs some more amount of energy. But this large amount of energy is not needed by the plant because the movement is very slow, very limited, and that is why they need a very little amount of energy. Got my point? Yes. Okay, great. So now we will see, why do we need this type of process? So why at all we need to respire? First of all, due to this respiration, the various types of physiological processes takes place within our body, right? First is the protein synthesis from the amino acids. So whatever we are getting from the food, the amino acids will be like, the protein synthesis will take place. Secondly, for doing the movements continuously, muscle contraction takes place. So for the muscle contraction, we can move from one place to another, and for doing this we need energy. Yes, again. Now coming to the third thing, for the conduction of the different electrical impulses through the nerve cell, that is the neuron, towards the brain and away from the brain. So for that also we need to respire because we need the energy for doing that. And continuously the cell division is taking place within our body, and that is why we are growing, right? We are growing and developing, and for this also energy is very, very important. So for doing any sort of work, whether we are sitting at a place or going anywhere, rather if you just sleep also, that time also a little bit of energy is needed for continuously happening all the different activities within your body, right? Pragya, no. You have a lot of chance. You can give me more answers to become the star kid of the session. Yes, don't worry. I'll give you more chances, right? I have a lot of different questions. Okay, chalo. So let's see. These are the different things for which we need the respiration. Now, is there any alternative for the glucose to be broken down during this process of respiration? Yes, what do you think? Yes, always telling that the oxidative breakdown of the glucose particle is known as the respiration, and glucose is only broken down with the presence of oxygen, and that is why respiration is taking place. We are getting the energy. The glucose is broken down to form the carbon dioxide and water. So I'm always talking about the glucose. So is there any alternative for glucose? Like when we are taking in the food, so we are taking the food which contains the glucose, that is in case of the carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, we are basically taking all the different nutrients, right? So why only we are tackling about the glucose? Yes, any idea? Okay, so if the glucose is not available at that time in the particularly directly in the cell, then what will happen? The protein and fat will produce the glucose. It will be converted within the glucose particles, and then only this glucose will be broken down with the help of the oxygen for giving us the energy. So there is no any alternative for the glucose in our body. The glucose is the main thing which will be broken down with the help of the oxygen so that we can get the proper amount of energy. Right now, we have seen that glucose and oxygen, these are the two main substrates upon which the different enzymes will act, and finally, we will get the product, right? So, depending upon whether the proper amount of oxygen is present or not, we can divide the respiration into two main types. So, what are they? Yes, one is the aerobic respiration, another one is the anaerobic respiration. You have already got an idea what is the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration, right? So, we have already studied this in the respiration in plant chapter. Yes. Now, quickly, Pragya, tell me, what do you mean by aerobic respiration? And Ankrit, tell me, what do you mean by anaerobic respiration? And I can see many of you are listening to my session, so you are also welcome to give me the answer in the chat box. Yeah, sure, Pragya. Someday I'll definitely teach this chapter. Okay. Very good. Yes, the presence of oxygen is very, very important in case of the aerobic respiration. Great. Now, tell me what will happen in case of the anaerobic respiration? Do it need any free oxygen or not? No. Yes, the absence of free oxygen can uh, basically supply or solve the purpose of the anaerobic respiration. Yes, so let us see in detail what happen in case of the aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So first of all, in case of aerobic respiration, presence of free oxygen is very, very important. So the air which contain the oxygen will show the aerobic respiration. Yes, presence of lactic acid is not better. Lactic acid will be formed, Ankrit. Okay, I'll tell you what will happen over there. So, in case of the aerobic respiration, what will happen? The oxygen will be utilized. It will break down the glucose, and finally, we will get the three products. What are the three products? We will get the carbon dioxide, we will get the water, and we will get the energy. So these are the three main products which we will get in case of the aerobic respiration, which generally takes place in all the higher plants and animals in the normal condition. So what type of respiration takes place in our body also? Yes, in the normal condition, in all the cells, continuously aerobic respiration is going on. Fine, up to this much clear. So with the help of a video, let us see what is aerobic respiration. Hi Satish.
Respiration is just breathing, right? Wrong. Respiration is the chemical process that supplies the body with energy for all other life processes. Growth and repair of cells, muscle contraction, protein synthesis, sending nerve impulses, absorbing molecules in active transport, to name just a few. It happens in all living cells, not just animal cells, but also plant cells. There are two types of respiration: aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic means with air, and so needs oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration doesn't need oxygen. Let's start by looking at aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration releases energy in cells by breaking down food substances whilst in the presence of oxygen. It is represented by this simplified equation. But don't forget the energy which is released. Glucose is broken down by oxygen to release the byproducts of carbon dioxide and water. Energy is released which is then used to make a special energy molecule called ATP. ATP is how energy is stored for later use by the body. Aerobic respiration happens all the time in all cells, usually in the mitochondria. Animals get the oxygen needed from the air through their ventilation systems. Plants get their oxygen from the air through the stomata. Do you remember how photosynthesis works? Compare these two equations. You can hopefully see that aerobic respiration works in the opposite way to photosynthesis. Plants produce their food by photosynthesis and then through respiration release energy from it. But don't be confused. Whilst plants do release oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, they don't necessarily take in this oxygen for respiration. They just take in any oxygen from the air. Plants respire throughout the day and night, as do animals, but they only photosynthesize during the day, when there is light available. So this is how aerobic, or with air, respiration works. You just need to remember that glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen to release carbon dioxide, water, and energy. In the next video, we will have a look at anaerobic respiration and how it differs.
Okay, so we have already got an idea about the aerobic respiration. Yes, Ankrit was asking me the full form of ATP. It is adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so this is the ATP in the form of energy, like energy in the form of ATP will be produced along with the carbon dioxide and water in case of the aerobic respiration. Here the utilization of oxygen is very, very important. Other than this, the plant and animal which show this type of respiration is known as aerobes, right? So in case of this aerobic respiration, the animals and the plants who show this type of respiration, without the oxygen they will not be able to perform any type of uh, activities, right? So we have already got an idea in the previous sessions that respiration takes place in three different steps, right? The first one is the glycolysis, second is the Krebs cycle, or we can also call it as the citric acid cycle, and the third one is the oxidative phosphorylation. So the glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm where the pyruvic acid is formed. Finally, it will go inside the mitochondria and it will the Krebs cycle will happen, and finally ATP molecule will be released after this. Okay, now let's see the equation of the aerobic respiration. As you can see over here, the glucose C6H12O6 is the chemical formula of glucose. It is broken down in presence of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and energy in the form of ATP. Fine. So all the organisms that obtain the energy by aerobic respiration cannot live without oxygen. So if there is no oxygen, they will not be able to produce energy. If they don't produce energy, they will not be able to do any sort of action, any sort of like activities, and finally they will die. So for getting more and more energy, we need the oxygen as well as the food. So this food and oxygen are the basic needs for the aerobes. Understood? Now in case of aerobic respiration, what happened? The total complete breakdown of the glucose molecule takes place because of the presence of the oxygen. Okay, so this is over here the complete breakdown of glucose takes place, but in case of the anaerobic respiration, which we are going to discuss now, here the partial breakdown of the glucose molecule will take place. Fine, up to this much clear hai? Now let's do one thing. Yeah, all of you are ready? We will do one activity. Yes, Pragya, Ankrit, Satish, Madhu. Okay, chalo. So let's stand up. I'm not standing up. I am telling you to stand up and do some activity, okay? So what you have to do is you have to jump 10 times, okay? I'll count 10 and you have to jump 10 times. Let's do it, okay? Chalo. So all of you are ready? Mehrit, yes? Let's start. So start jumping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done? Relax and sit down. Okay. Anything changed in your body? Anything like if you think about the breathing rate, or if you think about the pulse rate, beating of the heart, muscle becomes hardened? Yes? Anything has changed? Before doing the exercise, something was going very slow in your body, and now something has become very, very high in your body? Yes or no? Yes. So why do you think this happened? Why do you think your muscle is becoming like a little bit hardened? You are having a very fast breathing now, very fast heartbeat. What is basically needed in all those portion of the body, like the heart, the muscles, and all? Oxygen, right? So what happened in case of while we do a lot of different physical exercise, so what happened, our muscles sometimes do not get that much amount of oxygen, and we can feel the harden up of the muscle. Yes, this is because of the absence of oxygen, and at that time what happened, the incomplete oxidation of food takes place. So the lactic acid will be formed along with the other different types of acids like the citric acid, oxalic acid, and so on. So mainly in case of the animal muscle cells, the lactic acid will be formed, which will result in the muscle cramp. Have you ever seen that any athletes, or like while you play football or any sort of different types of outdoor sports, or you were just running after something, so sometimes you get some muscle cramp, your muscles, leg muscles become hardened? This is nothing but due to the absence of oxygen. What happened? The incomplete oxidation of food particles takes place in your muscle cells, and they form the lactic acid. And this lactic acid results in the muscle cramp. Got it? So, what type of respiration is this? Aerobic or anaerobic? Yes, quickly tell me. Definitely the anaerobic respiration, right? Because you were not getting that much amount of oxygen in your muscle cells that time. Yes, and that is why anaerobic respiration takes place. So, in special condition, while you were doing a huge amount of physical exercise and something like that, then our body, our muscle cells of our body can also show the anaerobic type of respiration. But in the normal cases, we our all the cells of our body will show the aerobic respiration. So what are the basic products of this anaerobic respiration? In case of plant, basically the ethanol or ethyl alcohol will be formed along with the carbon dioxide and energy, and a very little amount of energy will be formed over here, like 2 ATP energy from per one molecule of the glucose will be formed, because here oxygen is not needed, and that is why incomplete oxidation is taking place. Always remember. Okay? And in case of animal, lactic acid will be formed along with carbon dioxide and energy. Again, the energy amount will be very less because in incomplete oxidation is taking place. So with the help of a video, let us now see what is meant by anaerobic respiration and what happens in this case, right? Chalo.
You are running a 1500-meter race, breathing deeply to get the oxygen so that you can respire and keep up the energy supply to your muscles. Your muscles keep wanting more and more energy, but your lungs can't keep up. Do you have to quit the race? No. In the respiration video, we discovered the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and then looked at aerobic respiration in more detail. Sometimes animals and plants can't get enough oxygen to respire aerobically, such as during intense exercise, but they still need to respire to survive. After all, everything relies on respiration for energy. Luckily, there is a backup plan, anaerobic respiration. In this video we are going to have a look at anaerobic respiration in both animals and plants. Starting with animals. A cheetah sprinting to catch some prey cannot take in enough air and blood around the body fast enough for aerobic respiration. the heart and lungs can't keep up, so anaerobic respiration is carried out instead. Here is the generalized equation for anaerobic respiration. See how it differs from aerobic respiration. There is no oxygen involved in anaerobic respiration. It is much less efficient than aerobic respiration, and much less energy is released. This is because the glucose is only partially broken down. Another problem is that lactic acid is produced. This is actually a poisonous chemical that if it builds up in the body, the muscle stops working and you get a muscle cramp. You can only get rid of lactic acid by taking in oxygen again, and thus replacing the oxygen dead. Oxygen is needed to break down lactic acid, turning it into carbon dioxide and water. You know how you breathe deeply after intense exercise? This is your body replacing the built-up oxygen dead. So that is how anaerobic respiration works in animals. What about in plants? The oxygen supply can run out for plants too, such as in waterlogged soils. This then forces plants to have to carry out anaerobic respiration, as they too need to respire constantly. Here's a generalized anaerobic respiration equation for plants. Notice how instead of lactic acid being produced, ethanol and carbon dioxide is made instead. In chemistry, this process is called fermentation, and it is used to bake bread and brew alcohol. Ethanol is the alcohol found in beer and wine, for example. And in bread making, it is the carbon dioxide that is useful. The bubbles in carbon dioxide help the bread rise by expanding the dough. So you should now know that when our heart and lungs cannot keep up with the oxygen demand, or plants do not have access to sufficient oxygen, we have a B plan, anaerobic respiration. This is when the glucose is broken down directly, but it produces much less energy than aerobic respiration, which is why it's the second choice. And in animals it produces lactic acid as a byproduct, which causes muscle cramps, and so we end up with an oxygen debt which needs repairing after exercise has stopped.
Yes, so I hope that you have already got an idea about the anaerobic respiration, right? Yes. So what happened in case of the anaerobic respiration in our body? So basically it takes place in our muscle cells when we do a lot of different exercises, right? So we need extra energy for that so that the complete oxidation will take place. Other than this, the incomplete oxidation will take place for, yes, Meherit, this is for class 9th, okay? So incomplete oxidation will take place and finally the lactic acid will be produced. So it will start in the same way, which will take like the first step will be the formation of the pyruvic acid, which takes place in the cytoplasm, that is known as the glycolysis, and finally from the pyruvic acid we will get the lactic acid in case of the incomplete oxidation of the food particles. Fine. Yes. Now, during the heavy exercise, I have already told you that the muscle cells do not get that much amount of oxygen, and that is why lactic acid is formed, which results into the muscle cramps. And this is all due to the partial breakdown or incomplete breakdown of the glucose particles within the muscles. So, this is how the anaerobic respiration takes place within our body. So the anaerobic respiration, let us see with the help of the video which takes place in the muscles. Okay. Hi Harshit.
Ever wondered why you feel all stiff the day after doing lots of exercise? Well, this video will explain why, but first let's try a little experiment. Put your left hand as high above your head as you can. Stretch your fingers towards the sky as far as you can, and then clench your fist as tight as you can. Now I want you to keep doing that throughout the whole of the video if you can. Stretch and clench, keep going. In order for you to contract your muscles, they need the energy that is released in respiration. However, when you're doing heavy exercise for a long time,
the muscles can't always get the oxygen they need to carry out aerobic respiration. In this case, the muscle cells can switch to carry out another type of respiration called anaerobic respiration. This is respiration without oxygen. So why don't we just do this respiration all the time if we don't need oxygen? Then we don't need to bother breathing. Well, unfortunately, anaerobic respiration is not as good as aerobic. Firstly, it only produces a small amount of energy compared with aerobic respiration, and also it produces a nasty waste product called lactic acid. So, how is your arm feeling now? It's probably started to ache. The muscles in your forearm which control the fingers are now carrying out anaerobic respiration. After a while, the lactic acid will start to build up in the muscles and it causes pain. You can stop now if you like, or maybe carry on to the end of the video if you're as hard as nails. When you stop exercising, you will need to break down this lactic acid. To do this, the lactic acid needs to travel in the blood to the liver. Here, it is broken down using oxygen into carbon dioxide and water. After vigorous exercise, you may find you are still breathing very heavily for a time afterwards. This is to get the oxygen into the blood needed to break down the lactic acid. We say, after doing anaerobic respiration, that you're in oxygen debt, as you need to pay back the oxygen to the body. So to answer the question at the start of the video, why do you feel stiff after exercise? It's all to do with lactic acid. If you stop moving straight after exercise, then the blood does not return to the liver and the lactic acid stays in the muscles. This is what makes them stiff the next day. So it's very important to warm down after exercise with a gentle jog and stretching. Okay, you can really put your arm down now.
Okay, done the exercise for getting the idea of the anaerobic respiration in our muscle cells? Yes? Okay, let me see who can give me the correct answer till now, whatever we have studied from that, right? The first question is name the energy currency of the cell. Quickly tell me what is the energy currency of the cell. Yes, Pragya, I'll try to my best to do that, okay? Very good. Yes, the ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Second is already given, that is the oxidative breakdown of the carbohydrate to release the energy is respiration. Now, moving to the third one, the common phase in both aerobic and anaerobic respiration will be, which one is the common phase? The very first step of the respiration. Quickly tell me in case of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Yes. What will be the answer? Okay, let me give you the hint. It takes place within the cytoplasm, and here the process of formation. This is the process of formation of the pyruvic acid. Very good, Pragya. Yes. So this is the glycolysis, right? So in anaerobic respiration in plant also, the end product is ethanol or ethyl alcohol, we can say, and in case of animal, it is the lactic acid. So we have already got an idea by doing the experiment in the last session, right, that anaerobic respiration takes place in the yeast. So let us see what is yeast first. It is one type of fungi which is made up of only one cell. So we can say that yeast is the unicellular organism which is coming under the fungus because they do not have any sort of chlorophyll and all. So, very low amount of energy is released in the process of anaerobic respiration by yeast, and that is why we basically use this yeast in the different types of baking industries, brewing industries, where the glucose will be converted into the alcohol, and also the bread, cakes and all. For making all these things we use the yeast, right? So this is known as it can be also known as the fermentation process, where the yeast will act on the sugar molecules and it will produce the carbon dioxide and alcohol. So this will happen in absence of free oxygen. So there will be no oxygen at all. Okay, that is why it is written minus oxygen. Okay? So let me give you one fact that this type of situation all of you have faced, right? During the winter season, we generally shiver and clatter, and this is all due to keeping our body warm, right? Mammals have the power to maintain a proper constant temperature within the body, and we can do this for keeping our body warm. And this shivering, clattering, these are all due to increasing the temperature within our body so that our body will stay warm, right, during the winter season also. So let's now quickly discuss the question answers. Let me see now who will give me most of the answers correctly. First question, you have to give me the three differences between respiration and burning. Okay, let me see. Okay. So quickly give me the three differences, at least one difference between the respiration and burning. In both the cases, we know that energy is produced. We have already studied it in the previous session, right? So what can be the differences between the combustion or burning and the respiration? Yes. In case of respiration, very good. Okay. Respiration takes place within the cell. So it is a cellular process, but burning takes place outside the body, right? It is a non-cellular process. Very good. This is one point. Second point, we need some external heat in case of burning, but we do not need it in case of respiration. Agree with me? And third, we can say that the product in case of the respiration will be the formation of the energy in the form of ATP. The heat is produced, but in case of burning, along with the heat, light is also produced, right? So these are the three main differences between the respiration and burning. Coming to the second question, in which human part anaerobic respiration can take place? Yes, very good, Pragya. You have got all the answers correct, okay? Yeah, so in our body, in the muscle cells, basically, we can see the anaerobic respiration. Yes. So, which compound is known as the energy currency or the currency of the energy that is formed within the mitochondria? It is the ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, right? Now, this is the question of the day. Let me see who can give me the answers correctly. Yes, Maharit, you are also correct. Do the plant respire all day and night or only at night? This is a very important question, and most of the students get confused over here. Uh, like they think that respiration takes place only at night. No. So, no means what? Does it take place all the throughout the day and night, or it takes place only at night? Okay, I'm getting a lot of different answers. So Ankrit has said not only night. Meherit said all the day and night. Yes, correct. And Pragya has said rate of respiration is low during the daytime. Okay, yeah. So rate of respiration basically is low during the daytime because the photosynthesis simultaneously is happening, right? But respiration, always remember, it takes place all the time during the daytime as well as during the night time. Okay, very good. Merit and Pragya have given me the correct answer. Ankrit got the answer, right? Yes, so let us see what we have already discussed today. We have discussed about the respiration, the different steps of respiration, and the need for respiration, along with the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration, right? So these are the questions for your homework. These are the extra time question. Please note it down so that you can practice this type of question before going to the school exam. And thank you very much for staying with me till the end of the session. Let me tell you who is the student of the session now. What do you think? So if I think about the overall activities, overall correct answers given, definitely it will be Pragya. Thank you very much, Pragya, and clap for Pragya also. So, other than this, Ankrit definitely from the beginning till the end has also tried a lot for giving me most of the answers correctly. So, clap for Ankrit and clap for all for staying with us till the end of the session. and giving me the answers, responding to all the questions. So thank you very much. We will again meet tomorrow at the same time. We will discuss a lot about the topic. So before going, let me tell you to do not forget to like, comment and share, and also do not forget to subscribe our channel. Whoever has not done it yet, please do it and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any update of the upcoming session. Okay, so thank you very much. We will again meet in the next session. So till then, bye bye, take care, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.